Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image Comics. Long ago, the four comic book companies lived in peace until one day movies started coming out and everyone started watching the movies instead of reading the comics. And a bunch of collapse up. Anyway, this video is going to be about the Mount Rushmore of comic superheroes. The top four, most iconic. Let's get into it. A fair note before continuing, I'm not going to be considering any form of MCU or DCEU, DCU, any TV shows, none of it. Just pure, just the comics. So let's talk about the first one that would obviously be on this list. Superman. When you think of superheroes, you think of him and our next person, who is Spider-Man. These are the two probably most iconic superheroes in history. And they're actual superheroes who are willing to kill their threats. Like Spidey, he was going to kill Carnage in the original Carnage comics. And Superman, I know I said I wasn't going to bring up the DCEU or DCU or MCU or whatever. He killed Zod, as we know. I'm sure you wouldn't do in the actual comics, but those are two probably most iconic superheroes. I don't really have to explain it. They're the most iconic. Those are top two. Next is probably what I'm sure a lot of people also think of that comes straight to mind. Batman. This is very self-explanatory. He is in just about every form of media. He has probably some of the best movies, and probably the only other maybe one of the worst adaptations in the DCEU, which I know I said I probably wouldn't bring up, but I'm not accounting for that. He's in Lego sets. When DC needs to bring up something, Batman and Superman, those are the people that are going to be in it. He is explanatory. Now for this last part, there are probably plenty of heroes that fit perfectly into this. So let's talk about probably my best runner-ups and then who I believe goes into the final spot. So first up we got Captain America. Captain America, he was iconic all the way before the MCU was actually even a thing. He's iconic, and he was Marvel's number one for a while, and Spider-Man hit the shelves and started being everywhere. Then it's Iron Man. Iron Man, he's pretty good, I guess, but if I were to say he would be anywhere, he wasn't iconic until the MCU, and I just said that I wasn't taking that into account. So it went from D-list to top 10 in that just because of the MCU, and he had shows and iconic enough scenes and movies and stuff that if you were accounting all that, you could probably put him on there, but he wasn't before the MCU, so MCU, I'm not counting that. Next, I would say Deadpool, but let's be completely honest, no one thinks Deadpool would be there. And Wolverine. Wolverine, he was the most iconic comic book character for a long time. He's definitely in the Marvel Mount Rushmore because of how iconic he was in comics, the Fox movies, everything. Which is why he's probably second runner-up to who I believe to be the number one, the final piece of the Mount Rushmore of superheroes. Alright, the final spot of Mount Rushmore of overall superheroes is Spawn, which I'm sure a lot of people probably disagree with that take because he's more of an anti-hero, but whatever, he's hero enough. He's a good guy, right? He's willing to do the right thing. The reason why he's there is because he was the first ever Image Comics actual character that's been that was created, and this was after Todd McFarlane left Marvel to pursue his own thing after he was a massive fan of like Spider-Man, and he actually worked on most of the art and even wrote his own like Spider-Man arc. That was decent. Sure, the original Spawn was not the best written, but the art in the original Spawn and like during like here's some images of like Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man art. Oh, but it's really good. And this was during a time when the superhero like comic book like community was like starting to to fall off because of how like non like really mainstream it was. And then Spawn came over and he like that became like the brand new like uprising of it all, which is why I believe Spawn is at the last spot of Mount Rushmore. You can disagree, and I would say Invincible, but he's not. He's hardly a hero. All right, that's a hot take, but he's hardly a hero. If you think someone else should have been at that last spot, or if you disagree with some of my people, you're either wrong, or just be free. What the hell? Sorry, my dog. He did something. Or feel free to comment who you disagree with. My next video is about the only people that Batman has actually like chosen to kill, or has accidentally killed. This is John Comics. My name isn't actually John. See you guys in the next one.
Paren la fiesta y apaguen la luz. Reza bien fuerte, agarra tu cruz. Llegó la horrible criatura que puso a temblar a todita YouTube. Sonic.exe